I'm finna tell y'all this story, true history of the Crips and Bloods at war in Tracy from 82 to 84. I was there. The first incident that took place happened in J-Wing. I think J-Wing probably hold about 300, 400 inmates. Altogether, you got C, D, E, F wing all on one side. You got H, you got J, you got K wing is the whole. You got G wing. Yes. Everybody had about about 300 to 400 convicts in each wing. But what had happened in J wing, an incident took place. And what had happened was, I know you brothers remember the song by Rick James, Cold Blooded. It was out during 1981, during the summertime. So when I ended up in Tracy in 82, the springtime, they were still bumping it. And something happened between a brother named Fats from Great Street Watts, WVG, and some P-Stones, better known as Cav, Killer Cav, Smokey, Kit Kat, and Angel. These are Stones. They took it in their own to investigate what was going on behind that song, because Fats was disrespecting somebody, or they were disrespecting Fats, and it came to a head where they got to singing all over the tier, Cold Blooded by Rick James, and the Crips didn't like it. So I guess the P-Stone took it in their hands without telling nobody to go investigate on what took place. So they ended up inside J-Wing, out of bounds, in the same wing Fats was in, where it all started at. And I don't know what took place with the argument, but what happened was Killer Cal from P-Stone and Fats ended up wrestling on the ground. And Kit Kat from P-Stone broke out with the weapon and started swinging it while they was on the ground wrestling. Instead of hitting his enemy, which is Fats from Great Street, the blade hit Killer Cal in the jaw. And Killer Cal didn't even let Fats go after he got hit the first time. Kit Kat swing again, he hit Killer Cal again, 2 times in the jaw with a knife, AKA Kisu. Cal couldn't do nothing but let him go without hesitation. He had to let the man go. He got hit twice by his own homeboy. Sound like some goofy stuff, right? Well, that's what happened. And they got away because the police, COs didn't see nothing. They didn't see nothing. And these brothers got away clean. But they found some blood somewhere. And they locked down the whole prison. But before they locked down the prison, Killer Cal spread word, him and the rest of his P-Stone soldiers spread word of what happened. So we was aware while we was going on lockdown, behind them getting into it with Fats. So I guess Fats did the same thing, and he spread the word also with him and his crew. And you know, when they locked us down all the way to breakfast. So the next morning, when it was time to go to breakfast, about 25 Crips got together and they mobbed to the kitchen. Now at this time, you couldn't just mob to the kitchen. You only can go in like 5 at a time. They got about 4 different chow halls, and you only can go 5 in one chow hall, 5 in another chow hall, 5 in another chow hall. So if you got 20 people, 5 people gonna end up in different chow halls, which that's how they did it. They don't let you just mob in there. But on this particular time, the Crips was smart enough to know that they had us outnumbered, and the odds of us being deep inside the kitchen is what's going to happen. So what they did, they got together and they mobbed through the police all into one chow hall. They wasn't going to let the police divide them. So they were smart enough to go all together in one kitchen. And they seen about 5 or 6 Bloods hanging out in the kitchen. And they were breaking out with their weapons, out their shoes and everything. And the Bloods saw it, but I guess, you know, hey, you got those who is going to stand tall through it all, you know? And you had 2 of them, and I'm going to name them later on. Matter of fact, I'm going to name them right now. You had Tommy Joe from Swans, rest in peace, And you had Zane from 456, Pomona, Piru. Both of them ran before the door could even close. Because the police knew what was finna happen. And them guys got it up out of there, man. They made it up out of there just in time before the tear gas got shot in there. So when the police closed the doors, when the Crips rushed them, the police closed the doors. And they were stuck. Man, they had knives, stabbed Debo. He was in there from rolling 20s. His lungs collapsed. And they had to carry him out on a stretcher to the helicopter. You had Duck from Piru. He got beat down. Weeble Wobble from Swans got beat down. Carlos from Piru, he got hit in the head with a steel tray, and they split his head open like Frankenstein. He had a crack in his head. He had to go get stitches, and he had to go to the hospital. So they really terrorized all of them, but they only physically harmed 2 of them. So they locked down the whole prison for that day, man. And we stayed on lockdown for about a whole month. So I would say after the month was over with, they let us out again. This time I was kind of very angry and upset that we came out on the losing end. So me, myself, I didn't have nothing really to defend myself at that time. So I just walked the trial hall, basically with a couple of Damus. And when we went in the trial hall, you had about another 5, 10 Damus in there. Well, I would say around about 7 altogether. And with me and another couple of more few bloods, it made about 10 of us. So we in there, you know what I'm saying? And we chilling during dinner time. And out of nowhere, you have 5 Crips come in by themselves this time. Now we got the eyes on them, 10-5. So now you got what's his name? You got Lump from the Valley. You got Fish from Hoover, 9-4. You got Cisco from Avalon Crips. And who else you had in there? You had Yuckmouth from Broadway Crips, 112, 113, right off Imperial. So they was in there, and they was nervous because they knew it was finna go down. They know it's payback time. The homies got 9s and everything. They ready this time. We only 10 deep, but we got about 3 9s in there, and we ready. I ain't got nothing, and I'm waiting for them to get cracking so I can start throwing trays just like they use trays. I'm finna use some trays. So what ended up happening was the Crips got kind of nervous and paranoid, and they dumped their trays to get up out of there real quick. So I tell the homies, come on, man, let's follow behind them. Let's get them. It's time for us to get our payback. So they get up off their chairs, and they follow behind me, you know what I'm saying? And I grab a steel tray and take it out with me. I hide it in my waistline, you know what I'm saying? And walked out and got away with a steel tray. So while they walking, you know what I'm saying, the Crips are in front of us. The 5 Crips are in front of us. And the homies, they acting like they paranoid or hesitant. So I had to take it into my own hand with the tray, you know what I'm saying, to initiate it. So we came up behind the Rips, and I bust one of them in the head. Ain't gonna say his name, but I bust one in the head, and Kit Kat, again, start swinging the knife real wild at him to the point where they start running, and we had to jump back too. This dude do not know how to use a knife. I don't even know how he ended up with a knife. But the Rips end up running. I had the tray in my hand after I hit the first guy, and I start chasing them by themselves. They had Yuckmouth over in the hallway, beating him down, kicking him, stomping him. I don't see nobody using no knife on him, so he was all right from what I saw. But I chased about 3 Rips up in the wing and threw my tray at them when they made it to the entrance of the wing, because I wasn't going to go in their wing. I had my own wing I had to go in. So when they ran all the way to their wing, I chased them to the entrance door and threw the tray at them. And it's real strange, man. You'd be very surprised on how the incident report came back, you know? And what I mean by how the incident report came back, man, the police, man, they didn't take nobody to the hole, but when they slid a report up under my door the next day, it had all details on there on what I did. They saying that I had a tray, chasing people down the hallway and everything. And It's kind of weird. I don't know if anybody snitched on me or what, or did the police actually see that, but they had it down to the details of me hitting somebody in the head with a tray and chasing them. It was like a 128, like a warning they was giving me, and I was very surprised. So we went on lockdown for another month, and then they let us come off, and Reno and Frog from A-Tray Gangster had a talk, and they let it go. And when we went to the yard, had a meeting about it, I brought up the subject about Tommy Joe and Zane running out. And Reno had an attitude like, yeah, man, you got a thick coat on, what you wearing the coat for? Change the subject, man. He talking about how thick my coat is. I mean, that was insinuate that what I got protection on for. You know what I'm saying? Of course I'm supposed to have protection on for. I moved on somebody, I might get moved back on. But he's not focusing on the guys that ran out. He's focusing on the people, you know what I'm saying, who put work in or try to put work in. I don't understand it, man. Politics is something else when you don't want your own homeboy to get suffered behind discipline. He didn't want to suffer, that's a swan thing, so I guess, and it made me feel real bad that he did not discipline them guys, because that could have been me on that helicopter. And I really believe in my hearts of hearts, you know what I'm saying, that was the first beginning of me understanding that your comrade is not your comrade. And I want to leave you with that, my brother. God bless and Black Power. Thank you. I will be giving another one very shortly. It's going to be about Jama and the Caribs. Peace.